This is surgical medical on your screen, and we'll be going into organization of living organisms. Alright, if you want to reach me, you can reach me here. You can reach me here 9038425407. You can check, for easier this thing, you can check the description of this video. You'll see, the WhatsApp group link. You can easily join from there. You would also see the Telegram group link for free classes. We normally have our Telegram live classes daily. You get, so you can check there too. Alright, and you can message me directly if you need any information, or anything. Alright, so we're going into organization of life. Now, what do we mean by organization of life? The very first thing you should know is that living things don't just appear. Alright, your living things don't just appear. They actually came from something. They came from something, and this something I'm talking about will now build up, build up and build up till we now have a complex structure. That means they all came from a simple structure, then down to a what? To a complex structure. And this is what brought us to organization of life. So how living things are organized? How living things are organized from what are simple, let's say from the lowest level, we now have interaction between subsequent levels in order to form our strong level, like our complex structure. Just for example, now all living organisms came from our atoms. Are you with me? And from atoms we found out that they moved further to become molecules, just like chemistry now, to become molecules. When you have two or more atoms combining together, atoms of the same type or different type coming together, it would form your molecules. Then from your molecules now, that's when we now have our organelles that we now see in our cells. We now have our organelles. Are you with me? Our organelles. Because you guys will just see organelles, I will be like, where are this thing coming from? This is the origin. These are the origin of. And I believe you guys, your organelles now. For example, if you have a typical animal cell now, alright, you have a typical animal cell, and you have your nucleus at the center. You have your nucleus. Maybe you now have your something like a ribosome. Alright, you now have your endoplasmic reticulum, both the rough and the smooth. Then, and now all these things you are seeing, this nucleus that is found inside this cell, both the cytoplasm and all, is our organism, organelles. Sorry, they are our organelles. So all these things that are inside this cell here are what is called organelles. And we see that these organelles actually came from something. They don't just appear anyhow. They came from our atoms. Atoms then became molecules. Then molecules now interact and become organelles. Are you with me? Now from there, we have what is called our CTOS. Come take ogede sugar. Come take ogede sugar. You might be like, what's ogede? Ogede means banana. Ogede is just a Yoruba, the Yoruba of banana. So come take ogede sugar would be the next, let's call it the evolution of, or let's say where, what will happen after your organelles are this. Are you with me? So from organelles we have our CTOS. That means our organelles would become our cells, and then from our cells would progress further, and then would have our tissues, and then from there we progress. would have our organs. Are you with me? And then from there we progress and have our system. Are you with me? Are you with me? Just that CTOS. So now, but normally, you know that atoms becomes molecules. From molecules we have our organisms. Then from our organisms we have our cell. From cell we have our tissues. From tissues we have our organs. Then system, or you call it organ system. Now, what we need now, I was like giving us full details about all these things so you can understand where each and everything was actually coming from. But what we need, what JAMB would actually test you on is this CTOS. Are you with me? This CTOS. Let's write this CTOS out. Our CTOS. Let's write our CTOS out. Our CTOS. C T O and S. So here is our cell. Are you with me? Our cell, our tissue, then we have our organ. Follow closely, please. Our organ, and we have our what? Our system. Are you with me? Oh, this one I should have written it like orders. Let me write it again. Our system. Sure you get our system. Now, the thing is now that CTOS, 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 CTOS. How do I call it now? Like after cell, collection of cells would bring about tissue. That's why you have that cytos. That's why you have to arrange it like cytos. Now, your collection of tissue would give us organ, will lead to our organ. Collection of this organ is the one that will now lead to our system. System is also called organ system. So don't be confused. Don't confuse organ with organ system. So as this can, let me go back again. Collection of cell. Okay, put similar at the back. Let's put similar. Let me help you add similar there. These things are not hard. You don't need to cram. You don't need to do anything. Just let me help you. Put similar here. Similar. Put similar here. Put similar here too. Put similar here. Now, how would you do it? Now, collection of similar cells would give rise to your tissue. Are you with me? Collection of similar tissue would give rise to your organ. Now, collection of similar organ will now give rise to your what? Your system. And from here, we'll now have our full developed organism. Let me use my blue pen. So from here, that's where we'll now have our full, developed what? Organisms. Sorry, let me just. Then you have our full, so then you have our full, developed organism. So all right now. Let's now take them one after the other. Don't forget where we're coming from. Our CTOS, CTOS, then cell will become tissue, tissue will become organ, organ will become system. And how? That means our cell here, it's there. Then collection of similar cells would become tissue. Collection of similar tissue would become organ. Now, what will be our organ? Collection of similar tissue. What will be our system? System will now be what? You should answer that one by yourself. You should even type it in the comment section so I can know that okay, people are following me. Alright, so that I will know that I'm not wasting what energy and I'm not wasting what time. Alright, that's a CTOS. Now let's take them one after the other. I want this session to be extra short. I don't want it to be you can go back to your textbook and then you like give it a clear finishing. Give it a clear finishing. So this one is just to like make you picture this thing well and make you understand, so you might comprehend it when you go and read it. So now cell here, your cell now. Your cell is that like the one at the lowest level. All right. Take note. Your cell now is at the lowest what level? Your cell is at the lowest what level? And since your cell is at the lowest level, it's like the smallest. That's why you said cell is the smallest unit of life. That's why they call it unit. That's why they call it unit. You would have heard people say cell is the basic structural and functional unit of of life. That's cell for you. Like that unit, that smallest unit of living organisms is your cell. Are you with me? So now, an organism might be unicellular, unicellular or multicellular, or multi what cellular, or multicellular. Now how do we mean? Uni here means what? One, and cellular here means cell. Multi here means many, while cellular here means what? Cell. So now unicellular means that organism is one celled, like the organism is just having just one cell. Now multicellular here is telling you that what? Multicellular is telling you that that organism is many celled, many celled. The organism is made up of what? More than one cell. And now what? You can tell me examples. Like, I know you are a brainiac already, so you should know your examples of unicellular organisms, likes of your climadomonas, likes of your oglena, likes of your trypanosoma, and many more unicellular organisms, your paramecium and the likes. Now multicellular here, your example already, your plants, your animals, your fungi and many more. They are multicellular. You yourself, you are multicellular, and you are animal from the kingdom Animalia. You get phylum Chordata. You go into all of that. So let's not be distracted. All right. Now tissue now. Okay, before we even go into tissue, what would exams text under this cell? Exams will test you that, okay, examples of organisms, at or example of cells or type of cells at the cell level of organization. So now at the cell level of organization, you would have different examples, different types. Okay, now let's talk about implants now. Implants, you would have something like your xylem. Let me write them out. So implants, you have your xylem vessel, xylem vessels, your phloem cell. Implants, phloem cell. Then now we have many more. We have our mesophyll cell. All right, mesophyll cell in plants. Now what would xylem vessels do under cellular level of organization? It's actually the one that will carry water in plants. It's one that will help in like conducting and transporting water in the plant. Now phloem cell is one that will carry food from the what? Flow, like food, food. Phloem cells would help to carry food. So don't confuse phloem with xylem. Phloem would carry food, then xylem would carry water. Don't go and say xylem would carry water. Xylem will carry food. Phloem is what that will carry food. Why? Because xylem would carry water and minerals. Sure, you get it. So if they say that food, don't think maybe rice or maybe your jollof rice and beans or something. It's simply your sugar. So, but in animals, we have examples like your rod and cones in the eyes, rod and cone cell in the eye. Then your red blood cells, your RBCs, red blood cells, your white blood cells, your nerve cells, and we have many skeletal cells, epidermal cells, what again? Our muscle cells. We have many. Our muscle cells. We have our kidney cells. See, we have many cells, and that's why we have over 1 million cells in our body. Not 1 million, but over 1 million cells in our body. Over 1 million cells in our body. So that's even the major reason why we are what multicellular. That's the major reason why we are multicellular, because we have many cells. As you can see, I can keep on listing your epithelial cells, your epidermal cells, and many more. So now, well, in unicellular organisms like your euglena, your amoeba, your paramecium, they are just one cell, just one. So can you imagine that? Can you actually imagine that? So all right now, I think we should move. Now. I think we are good. So your rod and cones in the eye, your red blood cells, your white blood cells, what will your red blood cells do? Your red blood cells is actually going to help in the transport of blood. You get transport of blood and oxygen round your body by the help of your transport system. Then white blood cells, that one is one that's our body body defense to fight against incoming or invading organisms that want to come into our body. So they are fighters. Nerve cells, these are the cells that would help in transmitting or transmission of nerve impulses from our brain to other parts of our body. Then skeletal cells, these are the ones that help to form our bones. Then epidermal cells, muscle cells will help in movement. Kidney cells will help us to eliminate unwanted substances. So as simple as it is. Now let's move to our tissue. That's cell for you. Let's move to the second one, which is tissue. And I told you that tissue is coming from cell, and it's the collection of similar cell performing a particular function. A particular function. So that's your tissue. So in plants now, we would have examples like in plants, example of tissues in plants. Then you have for animals too, you get. Then in plants you have your mesophyll tissue, like you can call it mesophyll tissue, you can call it mesophyll layer in plants. Mesophyll tissue in plants, you still have your xylem and phloem again. Xylem and phloem, these are vascular tissues. You get vascular tissues. So just like we have this same thing under cells, the difference between the one we mentioned under cell is just that cell own, the example under cell own is having cell at the back, but here under plants, under tissue own now is having xylem and phloem is having tissue at the back. So don't confuse it. Look, if you see xylem tissue, that's a tissue, but if you see xylem cell, that's the cell. That's the cell. All right, don't confuse anything here. We are still progressing. We are not confused. We are getting it. We are not distracted. So that's it. Now mesophyll tissue, let's expand. What do they mean by mesophyll tissue? Mesophyll tissue is furtherly divided into your palisade tissue, your palisade tissue, that's your palisade tissue, and then your spongy tissue. So how do I mean? Palisade tissue is that part of your plant that internal part of your plant that is tightly packed, like tightly packed together, and possess a lot of chloroplast. And if it should have a lot of chloroplast, what's that telling you? So that's indirectly telling you that will be the main site of photosynthesis. So this palisade tissue is the main site of what? Photosynthesis in plants. That's palisade tissue. Take note. While your spongy tissue is loosely packed. So being loosely packed now, it would have spaces in all the leaves. It will have spaces, and then it would aid for gaseous exchange. So that's that. Then your xylem tissue, what I say xylem will do? Carry water. Then phloem, from the word flow, phloem, it will carry food. As simple as that is. So let's jump, or let's move. Sorry, we are not jumping anywhere. Let's move to animals. Animals too is kind of similar to the examples. The examples here are kind of similar to the examples I mentioned under cells. When I mentioned our nerve cells, would also have nerve tissues here. When I mentioned skeletal cells, under cells would have our skeletal tissues here. When I mentioned epidermal cells, under cells. We can also mention epidermal tissues here. So we have epithelial tissues and a lot more. So that's about tissue. Now let's move to organ. What's organ? This one is very simple. Organ is your collection of what? Similar tissue. Here. Collection of similar tissue that is performing a particular function. Are you with me? It's performing a particular function. Now, examples very fast. Now, plants, we have in our animals too. So in plants, we have our roots, leaf, and stem. Our RLS, root, leaf, and stem is the organs in plants. So basically, root, leaf, and stem. But animals, that's where you'll be having your stomach, your kidney, your liver, your brain. Are you with me? I hope you are aware that your brain too is an organ. Your organ that would help you interpret messages, send nerve impulses to other organs in your body. Your brain is an organ. Please take note. So you have other examples of organs like your air, your heart, your lung, your skin. All right. So let's move to the next. System. Your system is now what? Collection of what? Similar organ that is performing a particular function. That's your what? Your system. Now, for example, now you should know this one already. Under your animal, when you're having your internal this thing, like your digestive system, your skeletal system, all right, your nervous system, your renal system, and many more. You can check for that. We'll go into that. So you have your respiratory system, your transport system, your excretory system. Are you with me? Then, yeah, that's that. And in plants, you just have your root and shoot system. That's all. Root and shoot system. And then from all these things, it actually brought us to our organisms. Sure, you guys. So that's the level of organization of life. So does this make any sense? So if it makes sense, please let's give it a like. Let's like the video. Because if you are not liking the video, that will tell YouTube that we are not doing anything, that the video is not like making sense. And you know what YouTube would do? YouTube would not recommend the video to many people to watch. So just keep our video where it is, to not just get people that would like, people that would subscribe. Alright, like the video. You can comment under the comment section that okay, we need you to work on this topic for us. We need you to work on this particular topic in biology, and I'll do that. If you not comment, and then I don't think I would know that you need to master any topic, or you need to know any topic again. Alright, let's go into complexity. Let's clean the board. Talk about complexity in higher organisms. Complexity in what? Higher organisms. Alright, so yeah, we're talking about how living organisms are complex, specifically your higher organisms. Alright, let me just design my board small. Let me play with my board small. I should follow closely. Alright, now you know that organism ranges from, don't forget, organism ranges from being unicellular to multicellular, like being one-celled to multi-celled. And a very perfect example of your unicellular organisms are those of your amoeba, your euglena, blah blah blah. Then you have our multicellular. Now we found out that this one is made up of what? One-celled. Why this one is made up of what? Many-celled. So that means that means we would say that this one is a simple organism, like a very simple one, like the lowest simple organism. Why this one is a complex one, strongest complex organism. Are you with me? So we want to discuss about this complexity and what's making them complex. I said it earlier that they have over 1 million, cells. Over what? Over 1 million cells. And because of this, they are complex. But these people are simple because they're just one cell. Just one cell. That's what they have. Just one cell. That's all they have. Just one. And that's why they are not like complex. Are you with me? That's why they are not like complex. They are like complex. So even though unicellular organism can perform life processes, and multicellular organisms too can perform life processes, right? But still yet this unicellular organism lack some vital tissues. They will even like the TOS, the TOS. They will lack the TOS. TOS now. You know where this TOS is actually coming from your CTOS. I believe if you play this thing from the beginning and you are not jumping around, you remember when I mentioned CTOS. Come take the sugar, cell, tissue, organ, and system. Very simple. So these people are one-celled. That means they are in this level, just the cellular level, and they lack tissue, organ, and system. Are you with me? They lack tissue, organ, and system. But here, our multicellular organism have all these things. They have all this cell, then making them what? Multicellular. Yeah, so that's that. So organisms ranges from being unicellular towards multicellular. So that is why these multicellular organisms, they have advantages and disadvantages over the unicellular ones. So that's that. Now let's go into the advantages of complexity. Let's check for the advantages as well as the disadvantages that we have over the unicellular organisms. So now, advantages, and then we call it a session after the advantages. Can you guys, is this marker getting, why this marker, I bought it recently now, why, what's going on? Advantages. All right, the number one advantages over of complexity in higher organism is number one, cell differentiation. Cell are differentiated. Cell differentiation. Like cells are actually differentiated. Like, how will I explain now? So that like it will not just be like the unicellular organism that is only having one cell. So in multicellular organisms, like in higher organisms, they would be differentiated into many more cells, which would have his own work. That okay, I want to be transporting oxygen. That's your blood. I want to be I have hemoglobin and I can bind with oxygen. Like I'm your blood now. Your blood, like this is your blood, your Fe, like your blood that's having hemoglobin, like from your HB having your hemoglobin. Now, as affinity for oxygen, like it would bind with what oxygen, thereby giving us what HbO2. Are you with me? Just a little distraction here, but you need it. You still need it. So that means your blood is the one that would, like your red blood cells, or let's say our blood cells, is the one that would help us to now transport the blood through our circulatory or what transport system. So, and now if that's for that's the work of the blood cell. Now that's one cell. If you now have another cell like your skeletal cell, now you know that the work of the skeletal cell is to like make bones, to produce strong bones. You eating calcium, you are helping it to like make what more strong bones. Your osteocytes, your bone cells, your bone cells. So that's for bone cells. Then you can now have your nerve cells. In those cells that would be, so we have many more cells. So cells are differentiated to carry out a specific function. That's why your nerve cells will do its own work. Your muscle cells will do its own work. in aiding movement. Your another cell like that, maybe your epidermal cells will do its own work. All right, your blood cells, maybe your red blood cell, it will do its own work. Your white blood cell, it will do its own work. That's why cell is differentiated. Not like in all these unicellular organisms that they just have one, so they don't even need to be differentiated. Just one cell cannot be differentiated into many cells. Sure you get, because they are just one, and that's for cell differentiation. Then they have number 2. Are you with me? Number 2 is that they have internal structural specialization. Internal structural specialization. Now, internal here means what? Like inside. Structural means like, how would I call it structural? Like the structure, the ultimate structure. What you see, what you see, like structure, what you see in the inside of your living organism is what specialized, meaning that they have developed. These cells, for example, a perfect example is when you're a baby. When you're a baby, your cells are just general. They are not developed. They are not developed already. They are not developed. But as you grow, within that space of 9 months, they'll keep developing over time. They'll keep developing slowly, and boom, they'll become specialized. So we as human beings, we as higher organisms, we have internal structural specialization. Like all those things that you can see inside of us, all those cells inside of us are specialized to now carry out what? A specific function. To now carry out. So our internal structural specialization, like we have internal structural specialization, like it's specialized. Not like your one cell that will just be there. No, it's not even specialized at all. That one did not have problem. Just one. So I don't need to be specialized for what? Why should I be specialized? Why should I be designed? Designed for what? So but our own is structurally designed. Another word for like specialized there. So that's internal structural specialization. Then another advantages is mutual interdependence on the components of a cell. Between the component cells, let me write it. Mutual interdependence on component cells. All right, mutual interdependence on component cells. Here, for example, if you have let's use a plant cell or an animal cell as our example here. Let's say you have your animal cell, this is your nucleus, this is your nucleolus, then you have your ribosome, you have your mitochondria, your endoplasmic, your endoplasmic reticulum, your cytoplasm, your centrosome, your Golgi bodies. Then, but come here, all these things I'm mentioning, like your nucleus, your mitochondria, your nucleus, your blah blah blah, everything. All these things are your organelles. Are you with me? They are like the components of this cell. Your cell membrane, everything, they are the components of this cell. So we found that they actually depend on each other. They cannot work alone. Nucleus will control all of them. Are you with me? And as nucleus is controlling all of them, others are also depending on others. Others are depending on this nucleus. Nucleus are depending on other components and blah 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 like that. So they don't work alone. They work together. That is why we call them mutual. From the word mutual, they benefit from each other without causing harm, like mutualistic relationship. So mutual interdependence. So they are not independent. They are rather dependent on each other. So in our body, likewise, one cell will depend on another cell. Your brain cell will actually control other cells that, okay, you do this one at this particular time. Allow this guy to sneeze. Like he has been perceiving like some odors now, and it would affect his body system. So it will send information. Your brain will send information to where it should send it to, and then you unconsciously you now sneeze out. That's it. So like cells are depending on other cells. They are not working alone. Coming to unicellular organisms now, they are just one. They don't have other cells to work with. So that's another advantages here. Mutual interdependence on component cells. For example, now your nucleus. Your nucleus is made up of your DNA, all right, your DNA. So, and your nucleus is the one that will send, instruction to for synthesizing protein. So, what nucleus will do is that it will send information to ribosome. That okay, ribosome, you have to synthesize protein. Are you with me? Meaning that the ribosome is depending on nucleus for information. So the information ribosome receives from this guy here, from this nucleus, is what it would use to produce protein. But without nucleus, would ribosome be able to receive instruction? No. And without ribosome, would nucleus have somebody to send instruction to? Nucleus will not have. Okay, maybe the person to code for protein now, to produce for protein now, nucleus will not have. So that's why they are working on each other. So nucleus would like send information to nucleus that okay, I'm instructing you now, code for protein, produce protein. The person will say okay sir, and you go ahead and you produce protein. So that's how it works. That's how it works. So we have other advantages to, like complexity leads to efficiency, efficiency, increase in size, and now, like when they say efficiency, when everybody is working together, that it will be efficient now. Like everybody will be working well. Even you yourself, your body will be okay. Like you will be fine. That my body is working, every part of my body. I'm supposed to sneeze. By this time I sneezed. I'm supposed to eat. I ate and all those things. Yeah. Efficiency. All right, efficiency. But then let's check about how complexity increases our size. Now, you know that, for example, a perfect example here is when you're a baby. When you're a baby, you have to be in your mommy for 9 months. 9 good months. 9 good months. And in that within the range of that 9 good months, you are developing. You are from a single cell. From a single cell, you begin to, like, there will be cell division. From there, your cell would enlarge. There will be cell enlargement. From there, everything will be developing, and small, you would have your organ, you have your system, you have everything. You develop well. So by so doing, that baby would be increasing. When they give birth to that baby, eventually that baby would have increased. So complexity leads to increase in size, and over time the cell will continue developing. Like it will become specialized, continue developing, and from there the baby will be maturing over time. It will take the baby years to mature, and as the baby is maturing, as the baby is growing, the baby is actually increasing in size, and that's complexity leading to increase in size. Let's add it to, because I was trying to rush before. Complexity leads to increase in size. So yeah, and then number 5, complexity leads to efficiency. Yeah. So that's about that. Then now, what will now be disadvantages? Now disadvantages will now be like, number 1, I'll not write that one for you. I'll dictate it for you. So number 1, like more energy will be needed. You get more energy will be needed. Since the cells are many, as they are working, they work now and they will eat too. So that's why you will need more energy. And how would they get more energy? When you feed them with good nutrients. When you feed them with good nutrients, then they would work well for you. But when you are maltreating them, that's when they be like that. They don't have energy again. No, you get now. So your brain might not function well. Your body system might be you might even fall ill. So like the disadvantages here is that more energy would be needed. Then number 2, there would be, how would I call this now, slower growth. Just like slower growth, slower reproduction. Like your one-celled organism now, within how many days now they've grown. Within how many days, within year they are even done with their life cycle. Not like us that will have to live many more years, and as we are living many more years, for example, the perfect example now is when you're a baby. You know that it took you over 9 months to even develop, and after you were giving birth to, it took you many years for you to even mature. Can you imagine that? So slow growth, slow reproduction. Shey you get, not like your unicellular organism now that will just divide into two, and each of them will just grow. But you have to pass through difficulties. Like you see your female going through pain, secreting hormone, your oxytocin, everything. Can you see that difficulty in what in reproduction? Those are the disadvantages of complexity in living organisms. I think we are not complex now. We can just divide into two, and then one part of us will become another person. So that's that about that. That's surgical medic for you, and he is rooting for you. Feel free to message me anytime you want to register for intensive drills. That normally takes place on Telegram, and WhatsApp is for updates. You can reach me directly for more information. All right, thank you.